Hello and welcome back to Think Wonky. My name is Colette Adwin and today I'm going to be showing you how you can create textured frames in Canva so that you can go from this, a regular frame with an image and a colour, to this with a texture. Or from this, a standard Canva frame with some testimonials, to something like this. Let's go. Let's take a look at how frames work. First, go to Elements and choose a frame that you want to use. In this case, we'll go with this paint swatch thing, paint one, and just enlarge it. Now, ordinarily, with any kind of frame in Canva, people use the frame to insert some kind of image. So in this case, we'll just grab some flowers. But if you want to add texture to a frame, there's a really simple technique that you can use. Here's a simple colour that I've added to the frame. Now let's say I want that paint to have some texture to it. First thing to do is to duplicate the frame and then go into Elements and look for some kind of texture. So I'm going to look for a fabric texture in this case, and we'll just add that over the top of the non-textured frame. And you just play with your contrast, brightness and saturation. You can look at some of the other settings too to get the effect that you want. Like this one works really well. There is another way that you can add texture to a frame. So in this case, I'm going to use this coffee cup frame, which I made in a previous tutorial. And you can very simply just go into textures that are already available in Canva and add them to the image. So in this case, we've got a cardboard sleeve, a brown paper cup, and then I just searched for plastic for the lid. And I happened to find plastic that's already kind of in some kind of 3D shape, which works quite nicely. But if you want to add some dimension or some excitement to this, one of the coolest things you can do is use the Draw tool. So go to More and select the Draw Beta app. And in there, you'll see you've got 4 tools: pen, marker, glow pen, and highlighter. In this case, we're just going to be looking at shadows and highlights. So just grab the marker and you can draw some rough shadows in where you think the shadows might go on the image that you are creating. And click Done. And this creates its own layer. Now, one of the things that you can do with this is then go in and increase the blur on that image. So you just go to Adjust and increase the blur, which works great, except that when you click out of it, you end up with a rectangle. So one of the things that you have to do is download it with a transparent PDF, or re-upload it into Canva, and add it to your document. Now when you go to edit, so as you can see it's added in now, we'll just bring those handles in. There's a lot more space around the image for the blur to go. So we just position that over the cup, making sure that the cursor is outside of the cup so that the image doesn't go into the frame. And then just increase the blur. Simple, right? And then you just reduce the transparency to give the cup a nice shadow. You can continue doing this for other parts of the frame that you are completing. So you can add in additional shadows and you can use the same approach for highlights. But remember, when doing highlights, if you're using light colours such as white, you need to add the highlighted layer to a page with a yellow background so that when you download it with a transparent background, it removes the yellow but keeps the white. Position your shadows and highlights on your frame as you would like to give a really nice 3D textured effect. Okay, let's combine techniques where we layer our frames and we add shadows or highlights to the frame. In this case, we'll use a bag. Initially, we'll just go for a standard picture to go on the front of the bag. We'll just go for some groceries. And then on the inside of the bag, we'll add in a random dark green colour. To add the texture, we'll use the technique that we did earlier, and that is to duplicate the frame, choose a fabric texture, and then just layer over the top of the original frame, changing the effects and reducing the transparency. Then do the same for the inner layer of the bag. But you don't have to stop there. You can even add on additional layers. Let's see what happens if we add on a plastic layer. So we'll duplicate the frame, but this time we'll replace the texture with some plastic. And again, just play with the transparency until you get the look or feel that you like. And do the same with the inner layer. And you don't have to stop there. If you really want to take things to another level, you can use the highlighter shadow effect here. Just go to the draw tool and you can just draw on a simple highlight in the areas that you want, adjust the transparency and position the shadows and highlights on the bag exactly where you would like them to be. Voila! Let's take a look at how this can work for a social media post with testimonials. As always, if you enjoyed today's episode or you found any value in it at all, please give me a like, comment below, and don't forget to subscribe.